This is the Mindful Movement Meditation. In this practice, we're going to experiment with staying present and connected to our anchor during movement or gentle stretches. So finding a time and a place where you can be by yourself, where you won't be interrupted, and where you can lie down on the floor or a mat or a thick rug. It's important in doing this practice not to think of it as a sort of competition with yourself or with anybody else, but perhaps reminding yourself of the intention to honor your body and its limits. If you have any physical problems with your body, then asking your physician or a physical therapist before attempting any of these stretches. And also, if you find that any of these postures are difficult, then feel free to skip them and return to a neutral lying down posture until the next posture begins. So to begin, lying on your back, letting your feet fall away from each other, and with your arms lying by the side of your body, with the palms facing up, if that feels comfortable to you. Breathing in the belly will be the primary anchor for this practice. You are welcome to try connecting with other anchors, like your feet or hands, or the breath in other parts of the body. If you choose to use another anchor, just substitute that anchor for the breath in the belly as we go through the practice. So now taking a moment to connect with your anchor, the breath in the belly, the rising of the abdomen on the in-breath, and the falling away on the out-breath. Staying connected with that anchor, with the sensations of breathing throughout each posture and stretch. And when you're ready, on an in-breath, lifting the arms so the hands come up over your head and end up stretched above your head, and stretching out as far as the fingers will go, and the heels stretching out in the other direction. So your entire body is stretched here, and you're aware of the sensations of the breath as your fingers are stretched out above your head and the heels are stretched out in the other direction. And as you breathe, noticing if there are any changes in the sensations. And then on the next out-breath, letting go of the stretch and allowing the arms to come back over and very slowly come down to rest by the side of your body, with the palms turned up if that feels comfortable. Noticing the consequences of having done that stretch on the way the breath moves and feels. Just tuning into the sensations of your belly, in touch with the sensations, whatever they are. And now when you're ready, staying connected with the breath, but sliding the feet up towards the buttocks so that you end up with the knees pointing towards the ceiling, with the feet placed about a hip's width apart. We're going to do some pelvic tilts. Your lower back is in contact with the mat, And we're going to tilt the pelvis so that the tailbone comes down on the mat. The small of the back comes off the mat and makes an arched shape. If you want to feel this, you can slide one hand under the small of your back in the arch that's formed. And holding that position and breathing it with it for a few moments, and then taking the hand away. And noticing what happens to the breathing if you tilt the pelvis in the other direction, so the small of the back comes back down on the mat. So now the pelvis is still on the mat, but the tailbone is coming off the mat very slightly. And holding that for a few moments and noticing the breath. And then tilting back so the tailbone comes down and the arch is opened up in the small of the back again. Taking a few breaths here. And now just rocking from one position to the other at your own pace in time with your breathing. And then when you're ready, remaining connected with the breath, coming to rest, and drawing the knees right up towards the chest. And again, noticing how that affects the breath. And then moving or circling your arms around to take hold either of the thighs underneath the knees or the shin bones, and hugging your knees to your chest. In this stretch, you might rock gently from side to side to massage the muscles on either side of your spine, all the while staying connected with the breath in the belly. And if you'd like to add to the stretch, you can experiment with bringing your head and shoulders off the mat so that you're rocking gently here with the head towards the knees. And again, noticing how that affects the breath. When you're ready, coming to rest, moving the head and shoulders back down to the mat, letting go of the thighs, and letting the legs stretch out again on the floor, on the mat, and tuning into the sensations of breath in the belly. Noticing the after effect of doing these stretches. And now staying connected with the breath, lifting up the left knee and reaching out with your arms and holding on to the left thigh or shin bone and squeezing it towards the chest. However far it comes, that's as far as you need it to be. And then perhaps lifting up the head and shoulders again, toward the knee, and staying with the breath. Continuing to breathe and noticing the effects of these stretches on your breathing. And then when you're ready, lowering the head and shoulders back onto the mat, letting the left leg stretch back out onto the mat and noticing the after effects of that stretch on the breath. And staying connected with those breathing sensations. And when you're ready, lifting the right knee, again reaching out with your hands and arms, moving your arms around the thigh or shin bone and squeezing it up towards the chest. Gently squeezing it, not forcing it in any way. Moving up to the edge of this stretch and not trying to move it beyond it or compete with yourself. Letting go of any kind of sense of wanting things to be a certain way. And just noticing the breath. And if you choose to, bringing your head and shoulders towards the knee and noticing what happens to the breath. And then when you're ready, moving the head and shoulders back down onto the mat and letting the legs stretch out again. Back into the starting position, lying on your back with your hands at your sides, the legs stretched out with the feet falling away from each other, breathing. Noticing the breath in this moment. And then making a dedicated effort to stay with the breath as you switch positions. And begin to turn over and come onto all fours. So in this position, the hands and the palms are directly underneath your shoulders, and your knees, about a hip width apart, are directly under your hips. With your back straight, the position is something like that of a table with 4 legs. And remaining here for a few minutes and connecting with your breathing. Now we're going to do some cat and cow stretches. So on an out breath, letting the back come up as if you're a cat arching its back, like a Halloween cat, and letting your head come down between your arms. Really giving your back a good stretch on the out breath. And then on the in-breath, letting the head come up and the back comes down, so the abdomen and belly are hanging closer to the ground like a cow. And then on the out breath, again, tucking the tailbone, moving up into another cat stretch, arching the back. And the head comes down between the arms. And then on an in-breath, the back comes down into the cow stretch and moving slowly into the reverse position. And staying connected with what's happening with the breath throughout these stretches and poses. Moving back and forth between the cat and cow at your own pace, in synchrony with the breath. And now coming back down into the table posture, feeling the breath, staying connected with it as we move into a different position. Beginning to stretch the left leg out behind you. Staying with the breath and seeing if you can also stretch the right arm out in front of you. So the left leg stretches behind and the right arm stretches out in front. Looking out over the fingers of the right hand. This is a bit of a balancing and strengthening posture. And just remaining here, balancing and feeling the breath. Letting the breath be your anchor and your support as the posture becomes more challenging. And then when you're ready, bring the leg down and bring the hand down. Noticing the effects on the breath from that stretch. And then going in the other direction, this time stretching out the right leg behind you and the left arm in front of you. And looking out over the fingers of your left hand. Holding that for a few moments, feeling the breath, and letting the breath support you as the posture becomes more challenging and intense. And then bringing your leg down and arm down and connecting with the breath. And again, making an effort to stay connected with the breath as we move into a different posture. Making adjustments to turn over and lie down again on your mat. In touch with your breathing as you lie here. And staying connected with that anchor, drawing the knees up again towards the ceiling, but this time sliding the feet a bit further towards the buttocks than we did before. And a bit further apart, moving the hands above the head and letting them rest there, feeling the breath. And staying connected with the breath, pushing off the ground with your feet so that your buttocks and your lower back come off the ground, off the floor, making a half bridge pose. So your body simply resting on the bottom of your feet and on your shoulders in this position. And there's lots of space to breathe. So breathing down into the abdomen and noticing the sensations there. Again, allowing the breath and the anchor to support you in this practice. And when it feels right to you, lowering your body, honoring the wisdom of your body, letting your body come back down onto the mat, stretching out the legs and bringing the arms down to rest by the sides of your body. And in this posture, just noticing the after effects of that stretch on the breath, tuning into those sensations. Now when you're ready, drawing the knees once again so that they're pointing towards the ceiling. But this time keeping the legs and the feet together so that they're touching each other. Bringing the hands up behind your head and lacing the fingers so that your head is resting on your fingers. And taking a moment to check in and connect with the breath. Now we're going to do a twist stretch. So staying connected with the breathing. So tightening up the abdominal muscles and letting the knees fall gently over to the left side. So that the left knee is coming down very slowly towards the floor and mat. And the right knee may come with it all the way, or it may just hang there. And then just breathing with that. And as you breathe, moving your head in the other direction so that your eyes are looking out over your right elbow and feeling the breath there. When you're ready, bringing the knees up to the central position and tightening up the abdominal muscles as you let the knees fall gently towards the right-hand side of the body. And as you do so, turning your head to the left so your eyes are looking out over your left elbow, and then breathing here for a couple breaths. And when you're ready, drawing the knees back up so the feet are flat on the floor, turning your head back to the midline so that you're staring at the ceiling, unlacing the fingers and bringing the arms back to your sides, and as best you can, remaining connected to the breath in the belly. And when you're ready, lifting the left leg so it moves up into the air and winds up pointing towards the ceiling. And when it gets into the air, feeling the effects of that on the breath. And then moving the left foot around and around as if you had a paintbrush on your toe and were drawing circles on the ceiling. First in one direction and then in the other, staying connected with the breath in the belly. If you wanted to intensify the stretch, you can reach out with your arms, placing them on your thighs, and gently pulling the leg further upright, but not forcing anything to happen. And if you'd like to, moving the head and shoulders off the mat towards the knee. And again, feeling the breath. And then when you're ready, moving the head and shoulders back down onto the mat and letting the legs stretch out again. It might take several breaths for the leg to come down, as if it were a crane, lowering a very heavy but delicate weight, slowly, slowly, and feeling the breath. And notice when the leg reaches the floor. Lying here, noticing the after effects of that stretch on the breath. And now when you're ready, sliding the feet towards the buttocks so that you end up with the knees pointing towards the ceiling with the feet placed about a hip width apart. Now when you're ready, lifting the right leg up into the air as far as it will come, but not pushing beyond any limits. And then moving the foot first in one direction and now in the other. And if you want to intensify the stretch, then reaching up and holding the thigh and easing the leg further into the vertical position. And if you want to, letting your head and shoulders come off the ground and face your knee. Breathing and tuning into the sensations of breathing, feeling the breath. And then when you're ready, moving the head and shoulders back down onto the mat, with the small of the back against the mat, tightening your abdominal muscles slightly. Begin very slowly lowering the right leg, taking several breaths as it comes down toward the mat, feeling the breath. When the leg reaches the floor, noticing the wave of relief as the floor takes over the work of holding up your leg, and letting the leg stretch out again, and just lying here feeling the breath. And when you're ready, turning over to the left side of your body and propping up your head on your left hand. Your right hand can be placed in front of your body to act as an extra support as you lie here on your left side. Now lifting the right leg as far up as it wants to go and noticing how this is affecting the breath in the belly. If there are intense sensations, seeing what happens as you connect with your breath to help give you an anchor amidst those sensations. And then when you're ready, just very gradually lowering the leg back down on the left leg and staying with the breath. And staying with the breath as you turn over onto your right side. Your head is propped up on your right hand and your left hand is now in front of you, giving you some extra support and stability. And then when you're ready, lifting the left leg up, holding it there, and noticing the sensations of the breath. Breathing with the other sensations, allowing them to be just as they are. letting the breath be your anchor in this posture. And then when you're ready, bring the left leg very slowly back towards the right leg and breathing. And staying connected with your breath as you roll from your side to your stomach, lying on one side of your face or the other, and letting your body sink into the mat as you feel your breath in this new position. And when you're ready, lifting your head so that it's resting on your chin and keeping the pelvis and both hips on the mat. And then very slowly lifting the right leg very slightly off the mat. So holding up the right leg and noticing the breath. And then when you're ready, bringing your right leg down and letting your face come down to rest on the other side. And letting your body relax and sink into the mat, feeling the breath. And then when you're ready, moving the head so it's resting on your chin again and lifting the left leg to bring it slightly off the ground. The hips are on the mat and all that's required is the left leg is lifted just a few centimeters or a few inches off the mat, and then feeling the breath there. And letting the leg down, and letting your head rest on the other side, and just lying here breathing. And when you're ready, bringing the chin once again to rest on the mat, and then bringing your feet together so that the toes and heels are touching. And on the next in-breath, gently lifting the upper body so that your head and shoulders and chest begin to come off the mat in what's called the lower cobra position. The arms are not helping at all in the stretch. They're just lying beside the body, and your back is doing the work of drawing up your shoulders and head off the mat. Feeling a couple of breaths here. And then on an out breath, letting it go, letting your head come down and resting back on one side of the face or the other, and noticing the breath. And when you're ready, again staying connected with the breath as you move postures, coming onto all fours, so that your hands are underneath your shoulders and your knees are underneath your hips. Doing a cat and cow stretch again. Really giving your back a good stretch to lengthen and loosen the muscles along the spine. Doing cat and cow on an in-breath and an out-breath at your own pace. And any other stretches that you feel your body needs right now, always staying connected with the breath as you do them. And then in the final moments of this practice, coming to lie flat on the mat, again on your back, lying with your hands by your sides, feet stretched out, lying here and breathing, aware of the sensations in the belly. Nowhere to go, nothing to achieve. The sense of coming home to your body, allowing your body to be as it is. Simply lying here, breathing. And bringing this sense of connection and wholeness as you end this practice and resume the activities of your day as your life continues to unfold from moment to moment. Knowing that your anchors are always there for you as a refuge to help steady you throughout your day.